what we're going to do now is I'm going to propose these questions after you read the text on geology, and then talk about what standards we feel connect to that question. What would be the most appropriate standards that question links to. So if you go ahead and read the couple paragraphs there on your own, and then we'll get started in a few minutes.
So I'm planning my lesson about geology for my sixth graders. Some of the things that I think about to base it on Common Core, I look for a text that I'm going to pick. It's going to be a more rigorous text, something that really stretches my students and asks them to go beyond those basic hunt and peck kind of answers and questions. I really want to push them to look into the text and draw from the text and make inferences in the text, and then kind of segue into what we're going to do from that reading. So whether that product is doing a word sort based on the vocabulary that was in the text, whether it's an open sort, and then we break it down and do a closed sort, so they have historical geography versus physical geography, and they start to break it down and see the connections within the text, looking at what the author's trying to say and what the connections they're making as they're writing that piece of reading. So really picking out the right text for my students so that they can learn the content and start to understand the content, but they also need to kind of push themselves and go extend beyond where they would normally feel comfortable. And so then I'd scaffold my questions to get them to that point as well. Another thing I'll do when I'm planning a lesson like that, and I've picked my reading that I'm going to use in my class, is I'll then take the Common Core reading standards in science and base my questions that I'm going to ask my students about the reading off of those standards. So I'm going to have a variety of questions that match with each of those standards, so that I'm making sure that I'm not just focusing on standard number one the whole time, that I'm having my students look and analyze things in addition to just finding factual information, looking at how the author is presenting information, what the author is trying to persuade the reader or teach the reader about. And so I align the reading then and the questions that I'm going to be asking with the Common Core reading standards.